I wanna rock! Yeah, here we are, back in the forefront of making sure that the awakened empire does not take any more of our Federation planets. I've got a fleet here, 60,000 with another 8,000 en route, giving a total of 68,000. You can see here that we've got our allies showing up with some pretty pictures. I think that purple is a lovely color for war. Gonna be taking them to school, gentlemen. Oh yeah. Unfortunately, as we start to invade this Wilcam sector, which has been a hot contested area, we know for a fact that we're going to be looking at this fleet. 136,000 military power, and he's going to be coming in with a side jump ASAP. Army P here for eXplorminate.net. Thanks for watching our continuation of Stellaris with the new DLC, Expansion Utopia. So, we're coming in hot and heavy. I finally got my alliance member to listen to what we need to say, and I think what we're going to do is a monster engagement. So without further ado, let's get going. Alright, come on, gentlemen. Where are you going? Ugh, I am frustrated by our lack of our complete lack of commitment from our allies member. Don't worry, we'll take it on ourselves. We have control of the Federation fleet, which isn't massive, but that being said, we can do what we gotta do. Let's crack this bad boy down. We got it down, perfect. It looks like our Federation fleet. Oh, and he just got massacred. Oh, wow. He just lost his entire fleet in a matter of moments. We're going to take down his mineral production, which is always good. It's always good to try to, you know, cripple his What we're going to do... We lost one Corvette in the meantime. What did we lose here? Corvette, 2 destroyers and a cruiser. Minimal losses. Our governor has died. I'm not too sweating that. What we're going to do is try to load in. Sorry, 1 second here. I have my science ship while we were off screen, kind of just, you know, licking up all of the juicy possible wreckage that we could. Oh, it looks like he's already there. And the reason I did that is because I wanted to jump in and see if I couldn't get some of the goodies that he left behind. I was hoping that I was going to be able to at least, geez, do something. I don't know. This is a monster fleet. Let's see what we're going to come up against. How close is... Okay, my transport fleet's there. He's going to stay right there. But I do have a backup fleet of 8,000 coming in. He's still ways away. See if I can't get him there in time for the battle. Okay, there's his army. So I know he's got a massive one at 400 MP. So how many ships is that? 40 different units. Okay, let's see what we got. With my readjusted long shot. Oh, and the Giga Cannon too. We may have to change things. Kinetic army. Let's do kinetic artillery. Let's see what we can do against this 130,000 K fleet. Now I think I suspect at least 5 to 6,000 of that's just in the Titan itself. But with 72 available Corvettes, I'm kind of hoping that we're going to be able to slip by his defenses. If it gets hot and heavy, if it gets too hot and heavy, we're just going to retreat. Okay, still at 58,000. We've got him down. Oh, he retreated. Who is this? Whoa, what's going on? What just happened? A peace offer was made. Well, in that peace offer, what did we offer? Was it white peace? Hang on. I want to see what the stats were. We lost out of the... This is the second flotilla, so we lost 11 corvettes, and they lost an escort. That's not too bad. What did we take down? 1 escort. We lost 5 cruisers and 5 corvettes, or 4 corvettes. That's not too bad. Well, apparently it just was not worth it. It was white peace because it does not look like we lost anything. Well, isn't that melodramatic? I even made that I Want to Rock theme to it. So it does look like we're going to go back to building our fleet back up. Oh, and here we thought we were going to get right into it and to start some juiciness. Now that being said, we do know that we can't let this peacekeeper get too crazy. Like, we can't declare war for the 10 years, I believe. So we have 10 years now. Get this operation up and running. Means lots of destroyers, and at 10 years we're gonna have a new ascension perk. We're gonna have, and 10 years, 12 times, sorry, it's been a while, so yeah, we'll end up having kinetic artillery number 2. This is probably gonna work out for us because he is, even in the awakened state, well, what does he want? Even in an awakened state, his technology is not going to get any better, where ours will in 10 years. So, just like the Russians, baby. Don't give us time. Meanwhile, the Harathi Enlightened Kingdom, perhaps there are star nations in this galaxy that are even more worthless than the RMP Republic. If so, we have yet to meet them. What a jerk. He's just ticked off. Yeah, well, you're pathetic to me. You're seriously pathetic. Meanwhile, our neighbor, he's not happy either. Oh, I would go after you just for saying that, but unfortunately, I've got much bigger fish to fry. We're gonna repair both of our fleets, and we're actually gonna head back to Alberta Prime and start to rebuild our fleets. So yeah, there we go. The first encounter with the Zach Plot Peacekeepers ended up going into a stall. You know, not necessarily bad. I would have kind of hoped that it would have ended up being, you know, a little bit better. But what we can do, and what he doesn't realize, is that as soon as we get this Ascension perk, in just over 18 months, we're going to be able to do something that no other race that we're aware of has able to do thus far, and that is ascend to complete psionic abilities. Speaking of which, the transport fleet of 31, which is full of my psionic goodies, are full and did very well, I must add. Very, very, very well. Bit of a surprise to me that he ended up wanting a white piece. Those are... Being able to stop an awakened empire is always impressive. The interesting thing, though, is that if we go to the status, he's got like a pathetic fleet, because of course he lost it all by not listening to what I had to say, which was follow me into the fray with this button. This button here is supposed to be take point, currently set to encourage allied fleets to follow me. I'll tell you right now, if this is one of the things that they could fix about this game in the upcoming patch Atoms, I believe they announced today. Again, I'm filming this one on April 20th, so it's probably getting a few days later. But that being said, get the allied fleets to follow me. I'm the player, I know what I'm doing, and if I don't get it, I'm going to have a substance abuser problem, just like, you know, Admiral Falatier here, and my lifespan will be minus 20 years. Hey, anyway, we shall focus on what we need to focus on and let my ally go to bed with his terrible decisions. Because let's face it, that whole battle could have gone way better for us had we had that clear communication on how to conduct warfare in a conjoined effort. Because guess what? The naval fleet will do very poorly without air support. And the air support will do very poorly without the army. And the army, well, we're just awesome, so we don't need any of that garbage. But that being said, when you all three work together, guess what happens? It's called joint combat arms, and it happens to be the most effective way to wage warfare. It's no different than combining two fleets together to join their powers. My ally doesn't seem to understand that. Probably because he's authoritarian. So it will give us an opportunity to catch up on some research and to do several of the different things, get our military back up to where it needs to be. You can see here my naval capacity is well below. I've got enough here to really start to fire this up. Meantime, got everybody where I need them to be. Mind getting a... Oh, there we go. Until Governor Rass, because he's good for engineering output. And if you can look here, my output's pretty decent. 47 for engineering. Coffee makes me nervous when I drink it. Well, who's there? Who's the neutral fleet? Oh, he's already built it back up. Great. We're currently at the year 2377. I'll get that. I'll also do that. The ore, 15 explosive damage. Yeah, why not? I don't think I actually have any explosive damage, but I just want my ally to get, you know, bumped up a little bit. As it stands right now, we're at the year 2377, and the concern I have is that 10 years is not going to be enough for my Federation ally of the Grolflep Interstellar Empire to do anything effective. You can't even follow basic orders like follow me and let's work together. We are going to spend the time needed to really get down to brass. That being said, I've got an abundance of minerals right now for get everything rolling. I wonder if there's anything I can do to upgrade. Really excited by the idea of becoming fully psionic. I'll tell you that right now. Okay, we got enough of that, so we're gonna pick minerals, because it's one thing we're a little bit shy on. You can never have enough minerals. You really can't. Minerals and energy. Despite the economy, of course, being a little bit more reluctant and down because of the consumer goods actions, I'm really surprised that I'm able to maintain this. Power plants. I'm pretty darn happy with the fact that our economy was able to withstand such strenuous activity, like being in a war where we were pretty much building nothing but many ships as we possibly could in the shortest period of time. And not only that, be able to at least fight these guys off to a draw. And it looks like we have an ascension perk, because guess what? Yep, you're right. So we got 81,000. So that's exactly where we were before the 33%. So in reality, against a fallen empire, what are we, 18, 61, 21, 103, give or 108, give or take. So our fleet's now getting comparable in size. I wonder what it says. His fleet power is superior, so he must be building on his. So we have something to be considered, but our economy is just humming along. So the ascension theory, it gives us one ascension perk. Now you can remember from last time, of course, we were in the middle of a war with an American empire, so it made sense that we decided to take the what was that called? Galactic Contender. Gives us 33% of awakened empires. But that being said, I digress. Now we can make our entire race fully psionic. Now, what shall we choose? Ooh, wow. Armor plus 20%, which would be really good. I have a lot of... Ooh, tachyon lances, too. Got a lot of different options here. There's a part of me that wants to do jump drive, but I do not want to awaken the Empire, the Unbidden. I think we're going to go with phase disruptors, because we're going to want to melt down those shields, because there was definitely... You could definitely see that the Awakened Empire had some serious shield technology. Now, another part of our Army P commitment to our fans at eXplorminate and our Patreon supporters was to take the stance that we need to become fully psionic and access the mysterious nature of the Shroud. It says here, we stand on the threshold of awakening a true psionic might of our species. Our minds are ready, and we have heard the whispers of the psychic realm beyond our own. Yep, I'm good with that. The Great Awakening. The Peon species has experienced what only can be described as the Great Awakening. For a time now, we have been aware of a great psionic potential inherent to our species, but such powers have only manifested themselves to a small minority. Till now. Almost overnight, peons everywhere have been unlocked their full psionic potential capacity. It is as if some sort of communal pool of peon psychic energy finally reached the critical flipping point, collectively awakening the latent abilities of our brains. Telepathically, or telepathy has already been replaced. Sorry, telepathy. I was almost kind of trying to read that in my brain, and some type of I was breaking the fourth wall there. Anyway, telepathy has already replaced most of verbal communication between peons, and this is only one small example of the immeasurable changes to our society has been faced with. We are now tied together in a way that we could have only have ever imagined. The veil has been lifted. Oh geez, what does that mean? I don't hear situation log has been updated. So what does that mean? First off, let's go to an average world and take a look. So it looks, oh wow, we're fully psionic, and look at this: engineer, physics, society, engineering credits, happiness plus 5%. Wow, I really wish I could build I can see why you don't build robots, quite frankly. Well, even some of the pops that are actually migrated here, I wonder if they're following the exact same path. This is incredible. Look at that. He's got 1, 1, and 4 for the physics, society, and engineering. I put one of my own guys there, and we're good to go. Wow, oh wow, we've got to adjust. I really don't want to have to go through every one of the plans to do that. I'm just going to assume that we got some goodies here coming. Okay, and just like that, we just popped the Shroud. Like a muffled whisper in a dark room, the Shroud calls to us from within our minds. It is a primordial realm of pure psychic energy that comes into being at the dawn of time. All creatures that have ever been gifted with psionic abilities tap into the Shroud in some way to draw power, even if only subconsciously. Since our transcendence, we have begun to see the Shroud with greater clarity. There are patterns that were once even more our strongest telepaths could only see as a formless mass of swirling energy. There are other things as well, spirits of sorts, that gaze back on us from the other side, sometimes with curiosity, sometimes with kindness, and sometimes with malice. There still is a process of learning the extent of our new powers, but it may be possible for us to commune with these spirits. It will require a combined efforts of our most powerful telepaths. And situation log has been updated. So let's take a look at what the situation log has to say. Breaching the Shroud. If we are to communicate with the dissidents of the psychic realm known as the Shroud, we have to unleash the incredible amount of psionic energy. Preparations have been made for a huge seance involving the most powerful psychics in our newly established conclave of telepaths on Alberta Prime. Yeah, I'll research that for 10 months. I know that the Awakened Empire is not going to go anywhere. Perfect. So we at the Army P Republic have been gifted by being fully psionic. Amen. That is huge. That is some huge bonuses. Every one of my... This is the very first time I've actually gone down this ascension path, so it's fascinating to me that we got all these bonuses. I think the only thing we don't have is what? You almost don't want to have anybody using minerals. Fortunately, I just don't have a lot of situations where I've got army Ps on, you know, minerals, right? It's one of those things where you just don't want to sit there and you don't want to micromanage every one of these situations. But yeah, this is awesome. I really can't, I can't wait to access the Shroud. It's finished in 3 months, so our very first access is gonna... Yeah, it's a deal, yo. Yeah, this is gonna be great. Three months passes very quickly in Stellaris. And there's a seance. After days of being locked in a hypnotic trance, our psychics in the conclave of telepaths have finally managed to open a brief gateway into the Shroud. Now that we have established an internal psionic link, we will be able to access the Shroud through the contacts menu in the future. To make any type of meaningful fortes into the realm and meet the beings who dwell there, we will likely have to make our special psionic emitters to extend our psionic reach. This will consume a tremendous amount of energy. Interesting. Yes. Time to reach in and see what we find. Whoa. Looks like a giant nebula to me. Just so everybody knows, I've never seen a nebula, you know, outside of a picture. Anyway, the Shroud, an unbelievably strange and unsettling, but also immediately familiar. Anyone with psionic powers will have seen this place in their dreams, although they likely did not know it at the time. We linger now at the precipice of the realm, not far from the empty void between that serves as a boundary between here and the normal space, what we would call real world, the real world. To venture deeper into the Shroud will require great effort on our part as telepaths, as well as a large amount of energy. But we must not delay. Even now, we are being watched. So they want 1200 energy to reach into the Shroud. We've got 7,648 with a ticket 445. I think we're good. The Shroud. In the deeper regions of the Shroud, a presence suddenly makes itself felt. Visitors like us. A powerful psionic probe made by minds as utterly alien to us as they are to the Shroud. A faint image of massive organic beings floating in some type of thick gaseous atmosphere while being attended by swarms of smaller creatures flickers briefly into existence as their psionic echo touches our own. Got three options here, Army P citizens. We've got boon number 1, high probability of success. This is weapon strength. If successful, the energies of the Shroud will be channeled into the powerful boom that will be a positive effect on our empire. Weapon strength, okay. If successful, it'll be shield strength and ship repair. Well, weapon strength is always good, essentially considering that we're going to be facing a potential, you know, nasty Awakened Empire. Not to mention we're about, realistically, what, 22 years away from the potential for the Unbidden. So I want weapon strength. Let's do this. Our telepaths have managed to establish a temporary conduit between the Shroud and our starships. Using their psionic powers, our crew members are now able to augment the strength of our weapon systems. Well, what are we looking at here? Ooh! That is not at all weapon strength. Evasion is not weapon strength. What? Oh, sorry, that's not. I'm sorry, I shouldn't even say that. That's just my general. Combat speed, evasion, damage. Weapons damage plus 30%? Did that really just bump up my battleship by 30%? That's, well, I mean, I guess if it's across the board, let's take a look at one of our cruisers. Weapons damage 20%. I think that's the bonus. I think it scales to the size of the ship. If we get a cruiser at what, I guess that would be what, 10% maybe? 20%, and what's our corvettes doing? 10% as well? Or 20, so it looks like it's 20. That's huge. It looks like to me anyway. This is the first time I've accessed the Shroud. I'm going into this completely blind. I've never done this before in terms of off-camera work in our entire Let's Play. It looks like you get a 20% damage boost to everybody except for battleships that end up getting 30%. And you can see here my fleet power has jumped considerably, which really is going to make the Awakened Empire pretty ticked off. So that is awesome. Accessing the Shroud is great. I want to see what it looks like on the contact menu. The Shroud. It's got a giant brain and some circles. Is it just me, or does it kind of look like a smiley face with, you know, like brainy... Anyway. If you're looking at this right now, maybe you're looking at it like a guy who's like, you know, happy and closing his eyes, and he's got brain wrinkles. I'm trying to contact the Shroud again. The Conclave of Telepaths had not yet recovered from the strain of the previous visit with the Shroud. Without their combined psionic power, we can only catch brief glimpse into the fleeting realm, like the blurred edges of our memory just lying beyond our reach. I will tell you right now that it seems to me that the most powerful ability that you can get is the Shroud, because I got it relatively early in terms of an ascension path. 2378. The Unbidden haven't shown up. We've already fought back one Awakened Empire. We've actually got one Fallen Empire who hasn't done garbage over here. He's just looking as pretty as a giant mushroom with arms can look. Gross. And I fully accessed the Shroud. And how many Ascension perks do I have left? I believe I have 2, right? And I think that's what I need to our next, which will be Voidborn and Galactic Wonders. And I'm going to be firing on the next one. I actually unlocked the Harmony tree, by the way, because I didn't see a point at Discovery, because I went through all of them, and they're great for early games. I actually intend to make a video at a later date showing some of the good starting options when it comes to traditions. This is actually an option to start early, and it actually becomes more and more weak as the game goes on. So anyway, that is the access into the Shroud. That started off with us wanting to be like, I want to rock, yow! But unfortunately, Awakened Empire was timid by our awesomeness. Declared white peace on us. My pathetic ally here doesn't look like he's even remotely close to being... Well, he's not actually that bad, believe it or not. What's he got here? 13,000. 22,000. Well, that's not terrible. I mean, it's not great, but it's not terrible. Okay, everybody, so that's what we did, and we accessed the Shroud, which gave us a huge bonus. I mean, I'm fairly certain that damage multiplier wasn't there before, so it makes me think that whatever we're building is going to be it's going to get that lovely little modifier. If we go to the ship damage modifier, see, it doesn't say it here, right? Like, there's no additional bonus here. Excess power 1%. So it really does seem like it's only when it's built that you get that modifier. Oh, by the way, firing range, kinetic weapon damage. Man, oh man, we are going to choose some... whoever decides to pop up next, we're going to chew them into pieces. Because we have now been uplifted to contacting the Shroud. And we are invincible. So anybody else next to all these pathetic little enemy empires, they're just a joke to us. Well, everybody, this has been Army P for eXplorminate.net. I'm going to fast forward and kind of see where the next phase of this goes. If then whether Awakened Empire decides to jump in and cause some ruckus, I'm going to say Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to... And then finally we're going to, if any endgame crisis pops up, or anybody gets saucy with us, I'll definitely be recording, but I'm going to see how deep we can get into the Shroud and some of the other bonuses we can get and why we can get them. So this has been Army P for eXplorminate.net, and thanks for watching, guys.